If a stranger in a coffee shop asked you, "When has God shown up in your life?" you might find the question a little odd. But if you paused, chances are you'd have a story to tell. At St. Mark's, we believe God is at work everywhere, and everyone has a God encounter story. Inspired by StoryCorps, this Lent we're introducing GodCorps, an opportunity to record a short interview and share an experience of God at work in your life. We'd love to hear your story.
So this is Anita, and I'm here with Laura. And I believe, Laura, you have a story you'd like to share with us on a turning point in your life of how God was involved at that point.
I do. Thanks, Anita. It's great to be with you this afternoon.
Well, it's fun to be here.
Yeah.
And I thought I would never say that. Sitting in front of a microphone.
Oh, that's great. Okay, turning point in my life. Well, I want to just talk for a few minutes about how God orchestrated a career change for me, and also kind of in that how God spoke to me and used that time to really grow me as a Christian, as a person, as a child of His. So I like to joke about how in my work life I'm kind of in a third career now. So early in my work life, many years ago, I worked in different sales and marketing roles, and then after a period of time in that, I transitioned to a middle school teacher.
And I remember that very well. I remember when you were pursuing that, and my daughter had the wonderful delight to have you as a teacher.
Thank you. So I didn't realize you were part of that when I was pursuing that. Interesting. So I want to talk about that a little bit in this story, because that was pivotal. God used other people to help guide me in that direction. And then God very, just as He led me into that teaching career, led me out of that into my current work situation, where it kind of combines everything I've done up until that point, up until where I am now. So I want to start, though, kind of in the middle of all that, about 25-ish years ago, where God led me into a teaching position. And at that time, Dan and I, Emily and Andrew, were in elementary school. Andrew was in kindergarten, Emily second grade. And so I was doing contract work for different organizations, sales and marketing support. And I had done that for several years at home while the kids were kind of, before their school age. And it just wasn't feeling inspiring to me anymore. And I kind of thought, now that the kids were in school, away from the house some during the day, I was feeling a little restless. Like, what am I doing that's really meaningful? I want something that feels more fulfilling. And at the same time, my clients were changing. Some people had changed roles, so that meant some of the work that I was doing was falling off. And I just felt like God was shutting that down, which was very scary because it was a needed source of income. And I didn't know what was next. But I felt like something is next.
Interesting.
And so I remember telling Dan, I want to throw everything up in the air and see what comes down. And he said, that's fine. So I took several months. I remember over the summer I read some, career books by Christian authors. And I also talked to several people at St. Mark's, and maybe you were one of them. But you knew about that search anyway,
I remember this point in your life kind of indirectly. I think we had similar friends. Circles overlapped.
Yes.
But you and I hadn't really developed a strong relationship at that time, which
Okay.
I'm so lucky to say we have now.
Yeah,
But
we are lucky. Yes, thank you. So yes, I talked to several people here. And then the theme that kept surfacing was a teaching. And people would say, Laura, you have the gift of teaching, or Laura, you'd be a wonderful teacher. And my dad had been, he was all of our 5 kids, our science teacher, junior high science teacher. So teaching was in my background. And then, so kind of just to make a long story short, God really threw open all the doors for me to go into that. So I ended up starting a cohort with National Louis University in Wheaton. I got a master's in teaching and then a master's in reading and literacy. The house that we had bought not many years prior to that, the person that we bought from at that time was a superintendent of Geneva schools.
Oh.
And I was able to land my dream job, which was teaching sixth grade language arts in our district. And sixth grade was the only grade I ever wanted to teach. I mean,
that's amazing.
It really was like, I felt like, God, this is where you really want me to be. And you made all this happen, and it was pretty easy. And this is the part of the story that I think is really important, though, is I taught for 10 years. And I would say during much of that time, I didn't feel like it was a great fit for me. Like I didn't feel at home there and in that role. I loved teaching. I enjoyed the kids. And I found many things challenge. I mean, well, teaching it, we all know, right? It's an impossible job, and it gets more impossible every day. Just shout out to every educator out there, no matter the role. But I think just who I am, there's statistics about how many decisions teachers make in a day, 1,500. I'm sure it's, up. It's even more so now.
Crazy number.
Yeah, crazy number, 3 to 4 decisions a minute. And a middle school teacher or high school teacher, I was managing 90, student relationships a day, relationships with parents, coworkers, administrators. And that, for me, who I am, that was just a lot. And I think you and I may be kind of alike this way, but I have a part of me that is real, like I'm very oriented. Like I need something at the end of the day to put a stamp on to say, I did that. I wrote that. I created that. And it's here, it's physical. It's right here. And it looks pretty good, And
yes,
versus just a lot of times not really being sure of my kind of performance throughout the day, and my impact.
Teaching at the sixth grade level, it's hard to know where you've made your mark until perhaps years later, and students come back and point out to you something pivotal.
Yeah,
you did in the classroom that just set them on a new awareness of education.
Yeah, they don't always come right up to you and tell you, right? But anyway, so I felt like, so that was always a challenge for me. Like I felt like, God, you brought me so clearly into this. Why don't I feel great here? Like, what is that? And even like in the middle of it, God confirmed I was in the right place. So I remember we'd always take a vacation, in June, on that summer schedule. And one summer, Dan and I went to San Francisco. And on the plane, on the way, and it was again, the year ended, and I just have all these conflicting feelings. Where was I successful? Where did I fail? Where did I feel good? Where did I not? Am I in the right place? So I'm on the plane, and somehow I got seated next to a darling little sixth grade girl. And her mother was in another row managing smaller children. And she was nervous that this other child who couldn't fit next to her was with this stranger. And I turned around, I said, don't worry, I'm a sixth grade teacher, I'll take care of her. And inside I'm going, can I ever just get away from sixth graders?
Lord, this is my vacation.
Yes, I need to process my year. Oh. So, and then on that same vacation, so a couple days in, we got into San Francisco, and we wanted to go to Grace Cathedral. And so we, climb the hill to Grace Cathedral. We go in, and it was the middle of the week. And on a whim, we said, well, let's go to morning prayer. And the clergy that day were leading prayers for teachers.
Oh, my.
And I just started to cry because I just was like, God, I guess I'm supposed to be here. And it was confirmation. But so anyway, I was where I was supposed to be. 10 years, had a lot of questions. But I guess what I want to say is that God really used that time to teach me really important and difficult lessons. Like, where am I looking for my value? Where am I looking for my affirmation? Where am I looking for my sense of worth? Is it these 90 kids? Is it these parents? Is it my coworkers and my administrator? how do I feel when I make a mistake? Can I move on? When at the end of the day, and I put my head on my pillow and I know this didn't go well, how do I let that go and give it to God? And
as a teacher, that must be hard to carry that.
oh, that's, exactly.
The idea that you perhaps failed in something.
With children.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I learned some just really important lessons that God needed to teach in me to kind of free me in life. And I think that's what a lot of that time God wanted me there. I needed to be there. And then I'll wrap this up. But so after 10 years of that, God very abruptly and kind of painfully, shut that door and clearly said, this time is done, which I never expected. When I went into teaching, I thought, well, this is it. This is what I'm going to do from now on. And
you heard and felt that clearly.
It was external to me.
Okay.
It was like, this is, and so again, kind of events were happening, and it was like, I think, again, I talked to people, and kind of the feedback was, I think God is shifting things. And again, kind of scary, but again, now I'm in a role that really combines everything I've done and is I'm still in education, and I still do teach, and I also
That's amazing.
create tangible things.
And at that point, you were feeling open to this big change. How wonderful
once I
for you
thought
to
of it,
still feel
yeah.
that God was a part of this and not look back and think, oh, I got it all wrong. That you could see he was there at every step.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, I just marvel at the whole story. I've known bits of pieces of it.
Yeah.
Through knowing you as my mom's neighbor for
Right,
years.
exactly,
And then
yes.
growing a friendship, here at St. Mark. So I'm so grateful that you felt you wanted to share this with me. And I appreciate that you did do so.
Oh, thanks, Anita. Thanks for listening.
Oh, happy to. And everybody else. So
yeah,
I think our time's up now.
I think so. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of St. Mark's Episcopal Church, GodCore. If you would like to record one of these episodes and tell your story about how you've experienced God, please use the link in the notes to schedule your time. We look forward to hearing your story, and we hope that you continue to tune in to hear ours. Thank you, and God bless you.